connect with your mentees or just establish a relationship?
One of the first things that I do when I start a mentor relationship is really ask them a lot of questions because most of them like to talk about themselves. And you have to go into it gradually because some of them, especially with the kids we were dealing with, have some tough stuff in their background. So we had to be sensitive to that. But once you start breaking the ice with them and they start gaining trust, because that's really where a lot of these kids need somebody they can trust with their history, with the things they've been through. That way that you can establish that kind of bond with them through establishing that trust, but really showing that you care and you're interested in what they're saying.
The techniques I used were really just taking time to let them open up and get to know me, as well as just kind of sharing, my life stories and experiences that I had while I attended high school and college. So I let them ask me any questions that they wanted. I was always trying to bring humor to the conversation, especially really early morning classes when we were all a little tired and not quite ready for the day. Just kind of start off with some humor and try to find things that they were interested in and ask them questions about that, whether it be sports that they played at school or one of my girls was really into dance. So we talked a lot about dancing movies because I love dancing movies too because I'm kind of a nerd. I have no skills, but I love to dance too. And talk about different music they like, they had boyfriends, and if they're going to prom, and all that fun stuff, and just kind of think back to what I loved as a teenage girl and try to relate to them in that kind of way.
Awesome. What about with just like the communication, meeting up outside of the sessions and things like that? What did you find worked there?
It's a different age from when I was a kid, and everything is through electronic media anymore. And I think probably most of my communication was through texting. We got to see each other in the program at South High School. We saw them every other week for a couple hours, so that was very helpful. So you could have that face to face. But most kids today like to communicate via text, or Facebook and those types of social media methods. So as long as you're willing to do that, I think that's usually the best way to communicate with them. But it's communicate often, but communicate in very short sentences and things like that. And it's way different than when it was when we were kids. But I think that's the way they appreciate that communication.
If you had to give advice to a new mentor, whether you've had experience in group mentoring and kind of more of our one-on-one or one-to-two mentoring, what advice would you give a new mentor?
Some advice I would give is just to remember that you're there just for them to have another adult figure in their life and not to be like a teacher or try to force anything upon them, because I know I fell into that a couple times. So where I wanted them to do what I wanted them to do, and I learned that they're going to still make their own decisions, but to try to just guide them and really just help them make decisions, but not make the decisions for them as much as you want to. Because I learned to just really appreciate all the things that they brought to my life, as well as I'm hoping that I'm bringing things to them, but to help them make the decision and not try to force things upon them and lecture them into anything. And remember that you're just there for them to bounce ideas off of and things like that.
A challenge that you've had in your relationship, and how did you get through it?
Probably one of the biggest challenges is time. It's always about time. And one of the things they appreciate the most is you showing you're willing to spend time with them, or maybe not so much the texting part, but if you're willing to meet up with them, have a cup of coffee or go have lunch with them, help them with some of their homework. And really, at the end of the day, you have to make more of the effort at times, but when you do engage, they're going to engage back with you. So my advice as a mentor would be to really have that frame of mind where you can't wait for them to communicate with you. You have to make that effort. It's a real key to that whole communication and trust.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, man.